How's it going, everybody? CJ here. Back in another video. We're doing another first thought today. This first thought is on Plarg, Dean of Chaos, and Augusta, Dean of Order. So as I started doing this deck tech, I was like, at first I was just like, it seems okay. Augusta seems kind of cool, But as I kept going, I ended up with a lot of notes. Like, this deck actually has a lot of substance to it, and it could be a lot of fun. There's a lot of ways to take these commanders. I'm very excited about it. But before we get into it, remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're getting close to 1,000. Come on, let's hit 1,000 before spoiler season ends. That'd be crazy. Like this video. Comment down below what you're doing at Plarg or Augusta. They're pretty cool commanders. They got some pretty cool abilities. Something very different. Down below, we have the TCG player affiliate link. If you're going to buy any of the cards, buy them through any cards to talk about, buy them through that link. Helps the channel. Also, you can support the channel via the Patreon, which is down below. What else do we got down below? We got the Discord. If you want to join us in Discord, check that out down below. And we've got my alternate YouTube channel. I'm just going to keep pitching this, keep talking about this thing until after spoiler season ends, basically. I'm doing a Pokemon channel, and I've got a Pokemon randomizer Nuzlocke for Pokemon Platinum. Go down there, click on that, pick my starter for me. And yeah, we are going to hop into this. So we'll start off with Plarg, Dean of Chaos. So when I was first looking at this card, the first ability is kind of meh, but I did a lot of stuff with the first ability, and the second ability, I tried to think about what the best thing to do with that would be, and I came up with a couple ideas. So, first off, utilizing the first ability of Plarg mostly. You can use Plarg as a, boros sacrifice graveyard commander with a lot of recursion and stuff like that. Seems kind of cool. To fill your yard, you can use stuff like Faithless Looting, Magus of the Wheel, and all the other wheels, like Wheel of Fortune, the Winds of whatever. I can't remember what. Wow, I should have written down more than just wheels. Wheels of Misfortune, just all the different wheels work well in this deck. Naheb, Dreadhorde Champion, Cathartic Reunion, Tormenting Voice, Mesmeric Orb, great card in this deck, and Valakut Exploration, which is cool because it gives you card advantage while also filling your graveyard if you can't utilize those cards at that turn. And then there's a lot of ways to recur stuff because of white. So you can use stuff like Sun Titan, Karmic Guide, Revelark. You got Belden, who can reanimate things kind of. Luminous Broodmoth, which is cool when you have sacrifice effects. Savine's Reclamation, which is a cool card. It also works from your graveyard. Once you have a pretty big graveyard, you can use Underworld Breach to just do a ton of things. Have a really big turn there. And you can utilize Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, and Altar Dementia all to give you a good sack outlet so you can recur and bounce stuff around. Works really well with Karmic Guide and Revelark. Plus, you can use Altar Dementia to fill your graveyard even more. So there's a lot of cool graveyard shenanigans you can do. And if you want to lean more into the artifact side, you can also use Goblin Engineer, Goblin Welder, and Doretti Scrap Savant just to really cycle stuff in and out of the graveyard. It seems cool. And if you go this way, you can also use Crucible of Worlds to get the lands out of there, reuse lands, strip mines, and stuff like that could be cool. You can throw in Anger to give everything haste, and both the Squeeze, just cards that you can reanimate by casting them from your graveyard. Seem pretty cool. So that's what I've got for Plarg's graveyard shenanigans stuff. It could be a cool Boros graveyard based deck. You could also throw in cards that the Amon Ket cards. Didn't actually write any down because I didn't notice any that would be really good, but Insult to Injury, those cards could be kind of cool in this deck because you can cast them from your graveyard if you discard them. But the coolest part about Plarg is that second ability, where you can reveal cards until you hit a spell with mana value of 3 or less, and you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So there's a couple of cool ways you can build this. You can build a randomized Sunforger deck, where you could also throw Sunforger in the deck, but then just throw a lot of cool utilities, instants and sorceries and stuff like that. Just a lot of cool utility cards that you just will randomly hit. Could be a very fun deck. That could be pretty interesting. You could also just run it as a combo deck, make it so all your combo cards are CMC 3 or less, and that's it for under CMC 3. So you got like Rings of Brighthearth and Basalt Monolith and stuff like that, just to combo out. And that could also be a pretty cool take on the deck. You could also do, this is my favorite idea that I've come up with for this. So I was trying to think about what's the single coolest card you can tutor out of your deck that's 3 CMC that could ultimately like give you a win, or just a cool build around card that I haven't seen played much. And the card that I fell on was Shifting Shadow. So you can use Plarg to pull Shifting Shadow out of your deck in your opponent's end step and have it enchant Plarg. And then during your upkeep, you sacrifice Plarg and then just start flipping cards until you hit creatures. So, some of the cool creatures that you can hit are cards like with Indestructible. Creatures with Indestructible, when Shifting Shadow triggers, won't destroy the creature, and it'll just Shifting Shadow will move to the new creature that comes in, but you'll still have that old creature. So cards with Indestructible include like Blightsteel Colossus and Darksteel Colossus. You've got Brash Taunter. You've got Colossus of Akros, Seraph of the Suns, Soul of New Phyrexia, kind of, Stuffy Doll, Creepy Doll. And then you've got cards that will come back from the graveyard, like Thunderblust, Twilight Shepherd, and Flavor of the Hatebound. So that way you can just still get the trigger and have the creature come back, which is kind of cool. There's also cards that leave something behind when they go away, so it's not like they're just there and gone, which includes like Phyrexian Triniform, which you can also encore from the graveyard. You've got Wormcoil Engine, you've got Ancient Stone Idol, Desolation Twin, and Uvara Hellkite, because you can attack and get that dragon, and if you have any other dragons in play, you get some extra dragons. Then you got stuff that can do a lot of work even just with one attack step. You've got It That Betrays and Pathrazor of Ulamog. Both of these have, what's it called? Annihilator, which seems great in this deck. You can throw in Metalwork Colossus, which you can also recur, but it's just a big dude. Artisan of Kozilek, another Annihilator that also lets you reanimate something. So that's a nice combo. You got Breaker of Armies and Balefire Dragon, which you can use to just destroy your opponent's boards. Like, it seems really cool. And you can throw in cards like Trusty Retriever, Hall of Heliod's Generosity, Cavalier of Dawn, and Dawn to Dusk to just, like, be able to keep Shifting Shadow in play and reanimate it and stuff. Like, this is a very cool idea that I think would be a lot of fun. Shifting Shadow is just a cool card. And it seems interesting. Like, this seems like a cool little effect. But the thing is, you can't have any cards of CMC less than 3 or less other than Shifting Shadow. So it's definitely a very difficult build around. But it could be cool. And yeah. That's what I've got for Plarg. So now we're going to switch over and talk about the stuff that I've got for Augusta. So when I was first starting this, I started with Augusta because I thought Augusta was definitely the more interesting of the two, and then I found all these cool Plarg interactions, but Augusta's still very, very cool. So, with Augusta, you can do a lot of cool tappy shenanigans, and like, it's one of the cool things about its ability is whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. So it's not just like you can do that with all the creatures that have attacked. It's just if you have one creature attack, you can tap and untap whatever you want. So you can do stuff like Reconnaissance or Maze of It to protect the attacking creature if there's no clean attacks. But you can also do some shenanigans here. So, like, to increase the number of tapping and untapping things. So, like, we'll get to that in a second. One mechanic that works really well with this is Exert. So when you exert something, it means that you're going to attack with it, and it becomes tapped, and it won't untap during your next untap step. But if you can use Augusta, you attack with it, and then you can untap it and just leave it untapped, and then boom. It's got Vigilance, basically, so you don't have to worry about the exertion. So some cool exert cards that I found are Battlefield Scavenger to dig through your deck a bit, Angel of Condemnation to be a good removal card. You got Combat Celebrant, so you can extra combats, which seems great in this. and Glorybringer just to blow stuff up. Seems good. You've also got stuff that benefits off of being tapped. So you can not attack with these cards, but tap them with Augusta, so that way they're safe. And you can get their triggers. Stuff like Magda Brazen Outlaw to get some treasures. You got Reckless Racer to, again, dig through your deck a bit. Scare Tiller, which is a cool card that lets you put lands from your hand to play, and you can put lands from your graveyard into play, which is really nice because there's a lot of looting in this deck, a lot of discarding cards to draw cards, so you can throw lands into your graveyard, Scare Tiller, then back into play. It's a good interaction there. And then you can do Stony Brook Schoolmaster just to make a bunch of 1/1s, just little blockers. And all of this without having to deal with finding clean attacks, which is very nice. You can also throw in a bunch of cards that have tap abilities, so you're not even going to be attacking much. Like, you'll attack with like a creature that you don't really care about, and just so you can untap all your cards with tap abilities so you can retap them later. Like a Darkar, what's it called? A Darkar Valkyrie, which has, when target creature other than it dies this turn, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So you can also do this with, that is a cool effect. So if you have like a generous gift or something, you can blow somebody else's creature up and tap a Darkar Valkyrie to reanimate it to your side of the board. Because it doesn't say creature you control. When target creature other than it dies. So you can protect your own attacker, or you can steal your opponent's stuff by blowing their stuff up and then tapping to steal it, which is really, really cool. This card's sweet. I like this card a lot. You can also throw in Brash Taunter, so that way you can fight stuff and deal damage. You got Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. It makes it way easier to flip Chandra with this. Crystalline Crawler, so you can pretty much just generate mana, like tap it, put a counter on it, untap it when you attack, and then tap it again to put another counter on it. You can just make 2 mana a turn easily like that. Dismissive Pyromancer for more digging, and then if you need to, you can blow something up. Devout Witness, which is a cool card that lets you turn extra cards or just bad cards, lands, into artifact and enchantment destruction. You can throw in Dwarven Blast Miner or just Dwarven Miner. Both of these can blow up non-basic lands, which is nice. You got Endbringer, which can just do a ton of things. Like, you can choose from a variety of things to do with that. Giver of Runes and Mother of Runes to protect your board, protect whatever you're attacking with. Heartless Hidetsuku to just deal tons of damage very quickly. Just boom damage, boom damage, boom damage. Like dealing half of your half of each pay. Blah, blah, blah. Just read the card. It says what it does. It's good. It can just deal a lot of damage very quickly. You got Intrepid Hero, so you can blow up big creatures over and over. Kiki Jiki, so you can make copies of your stuff and get, so like, say you have like Kiki Jiki and just any tapper really, like say you have Kiki Jiki and Dismissive Pyromancer or Endbringer in play. You can just tap Kiki Jiki to make a copy of it to tap it, and then untap, and then tap Kiki Jiki to make another copy, and then tap both the copies, and then like it's just tons and tons of value there. Kiki Jiki is a very good value card in this deck, and you can also throw in combo wins with Kiki Jiki with Zealous Conscripts or Coercive Recruiter or Felidar Guardian. All of these seem great in this deck. They seem like great includes. I don't see why you like. It's a great Kiki Jiki is a great card in the deck, and then it can win the game for you. So it's a nice include there. Magmatic Chandler can get you a ton of card advantage. And you got Jaya Ballard Task Mage that can just do a ton of things. Jaya Ballard Task Mage is a good pinger. So pingers is another thing that you can do in this deck. You can throw in a lot of cards that just tap to deal damage around, so that way you can slowly deal a ton of damage by tapping and untapping these pingers. So that includes Jaya Ballard Task Mage. You got Cinder Pyromancer, Goblin Sharpshooter, and Kamal Pitfighter. All seem pretty good for this. And you can throw in like a Basilisk Collar to just make it so they have Death Touch, so that 1 damage from Goblin Sharpshooter can blow up any creature. And then untap it, and then you can just wipe everyone's boards with that over and over and over again. All that seems very nice in this deck. And you can also increase the amount of untaps that you get by increasing the number of combat steps you have with just extra combat cards like World at War. You've got Aggravated Assault. You've got, what's it called? Aurelia the War Leader. You got Morag. You can do all of this stuff. Like, just extra combats just give you all this extra tapping and untapping. So it's a lot of shenanigans. And then you can also use like Dauntless Haven and Taranika, a Crowan Veteran, to untap creatures in combat and like just get a little extra untaps there, which is cool. Like, all this is just kind of a cool synergy that just, you're going to be tapping and untapping things a lot, and it's going to be a tedious deck to play, but it's going to be cool and a lot of cool synergies. And lastly, I want to talk about some stuff that works just well. Well, actually, no, there's one more thing that works really well with the tapping and untapping stuff, and this is something that I saw on Reddit. So I should have totally written down who it was, but I did not. So if you're the one that wrote this idea down and happen to be watching this video, please let me know down below. But doing a Boros Rebels deck with this, like, with a similar deck, a Boros Rebels deck, and using these guys as the commanders would be very cool with Augusta, because a lot of rebels have tap abilities that let you go and get other rebels from your deck and put them into play. So you can just like pull rebels out of your deck like crazy by tapping and untapping. And so like rebels similar to like Lynn Sevi, who will be over here, but hopefully I put other rebels up on screen too. And then you're gonna want untappers in both of these decks. So stuff like 1,000-Year Elixir, Mage Right Stone, Puppet Strings, and Staff of Domination seem great in either Plarg or Augusta. So they'll probably be in either deck or both decks. I mean, it's the same deck technically. And then you're gonna want haste inside both decks probably, but especially inside Plarg. So Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, and 1,000-Year Elixir again. And also, with this commander, there's a very good way that it's not going to be hard to build this with Zerda as the companion. And if you do, you can also throw in like Basalt Monolith just by itself, or Grim Monolith to make infinite mana. So you can just like, if you go Plarg, you can Plarg out Grim Monolith or Basalt Monolith, make infinite colorless mana, and then Plarg something else out that uses the mana. I'm not really sure what the best options are. I mean, there's definitely cards that you can pull out, and it'll just be like, oh, I should have thought about that and wrote it down. But there's got to be cards that you can just dump mana into to deal damage across the board, or deal damage to a target, and then you can just dump all the mana into that. You can use Stonework Pack Beast to filter the mana if you need to. You just got to hope that you hit them in the right order with Plarg, which... it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. It's going to take luck to win in one turn, but you'll win in a couple turns doing this. But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got for Plarg and Augusta. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you're going to do with Plarg and Augusta. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video. If you're going to buy any of the cards I talked about in this video, buy them through the TCG Player affiliate link down below. It helps out the channel. Also, the Patreon link down below can help out the channel. And there's also a Discord link down below, so you can join us in the Discord and chat with us. We've got Twitch and we got Twitter down below, so hit those up. And my other YouTube channel, Choose My Starter. Come on, link down below. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.